Dinar Daily, your source for breaking financial news. Welcome back to the Dinar family. Today, we're sharing what may be the most important financial development in the history of the Iraqi dinar's revaluation journey. We're on the cusp of a new chapter, with exchange rates reportedly going live tomorrow in an unprecedented range from $5.25 to $6.20. For those of you who have been holding on to your notes, particularly the 25,000 IQD bills, this is a clear signal that the time you've been waiting for is finally here. This report will guide you through the crucial steps, expert perspectives, and practical procedures needed to navigate this opportunity. We urge you to pay close attention, because a historic financial moment is unfolding before our very eyes. As of September 12, 2025, a long-standing theory has reportedly transitioned into a live financial event. Information is coming in from multiple reliable sources, including private financial groups, global forex market analysts, and representatives at secure currency redemption centers. They have all corroborated that the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar is no longer speculative. The reported exchange rates are within a new and tangible range, starting from a baseline of $5.25 and reaching up to a high of $6.20 per dinar, with the specific rate depending on various factors. These factors include the banking institution involved, the location of the transaction, and the client's classification, such as whether they have access to private contract rates or standard public access. The initial report suggests that individuals with early private appointments, often referred to as Tier 4B clients, are being granted access to the higher end of the new exchange range. These individuals, many of whom have waited for years, are reportedly being offered enhanced contract rates for their exchanges. Meanwhile, for the general public, the initial access to the new exchange rate is expected to be available through international forex platforms at the lower end of the range, approximately $5.25. This marks the first concrete instance of the Iraqi dinar becoming a newly tradable global currency. Institutional transactions like structured redemptions for Tier 3 appear to be settling in a middle range, around $5.67 to $5.85, providing banks with sufficient operational margin while ensuring that market liquidity remains healthy. This event has not occurred in a vacuum. It's the result of a deliberate and carefully planned sequence of financial reforms. Over the past 90 days, the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, in collaboration with global financial institutions, has been laying the groundwork. The process started with the CBI shifting its monetary policy from a fixed exchange rate pegged to the US dollar to a more flexible managed float. This change allowed the dinar to respond more dynamically to global market forces, while still protecting it from extreme volatility, a key concern for developing economies. This strategic move was the first critical step in preparing the currency for its return to the international stage. Following this policy shift, the Iraqi Gazette published updated foreign exchange compliance protocols. This regulatory action was a formal declaration, both domestically and internationally, that Iraq was aligning its monetary practices with accepted global standards. This move was a clear sign of the country's commitment to transparency and stability. Simultaneously, there were high-level renegotiations of significant oil contracts. A powerful indicator of Iraq's financial sovereignty was the restructuring of many of these contracts to be settled in Iraqi dinars rather than US dollars. This not only strengthened the dinar's standing but also demonstrated Iraq's intent to reclaim control over its most valuable national resource. Perhaps the most crucial step in this multi-stage process was the authorization by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, of approximately $8.2 billion in stabilization funds. These funds were specifically allocated to serve as a backstop for the dinar's liquidity, providing reassurance in the event of rapid market fluctuations. This infusion of security was essential. It signaled to both regional and global trading partners that Iraq had the financial support to absorb sudden shocks without risking hyperinflation or triggering a destabilizing outflow of capital. All of these coordinated actions provided a robust foundation, allowing the Central Bank of Iraq to move forward with the revaluation confidently and with the full backing of major international financial bodies. When it comes to the practical steps for exchanging your currency, the most vital piece of information is knowing where to conduct a transaction safely and efficiently. Recent reports from a variety of sources now confirm that major Tier 1 and Tier 2 banks across the United States have activated their foreign exchange departments. They're reportedly working with Tier 4B clients to schedule and process structured redemptions. This is a significant development for those holding dinar, as it provides a clear path forward. The involvement of these major banking institutions lends credibility to the process and offers a secure environment for completing these transactions. Specific banks have been highlighted in these reports. Wells Fargo, for instance, has been a long-rumored institutional participant and is now reportedly beginning to notify its private exchange clients who had pre-arranged contracts. Chase Bank has also been noted for its acceptance of the larger 25,000 Iraqi dinar notes at select branches, which is reassuring news for those holding these larger denominations who might have been concerned about potential liquidity issues. Additionally, HSBC, leveraging its extensive international network, has confirmed appointments for Tier 4B clients in states like Texas and California. This demonstrates that the revaluation is not limited to a few domestic platforms, but has the backing of a global banking infrastructure. Furthermore, Bank of America is actively using its online system to schedule in-network appointments, emphasizing the importance of securing a time slot in advance rather than simply showing up. Citibank and U.S. Bank have also reportedly started granting regional approvals, with exchanges slated to commence tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. local time in specific major metropolitan areas. It's important for participants to understand that special payout options, enhanced contract rates, and priority handling are generally reserved for those with official, pre-booked appointments. Walk-ins are likely to receive only the standard exchange rate available on the open market. While this is still a significant rate, it may not reflect the full potential available through private channels. Therefore, a key takeaway is that you should not approach this like a simple walk-in errand. To potentially maximize your outcome, it is crucial to book an official appointment, identify your designated branch, and prepare all necessary documentation ahead of time. This is a serious financial transaction, and treating it with the proper level of preparation and professionalism is essential. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar is more than just a change in currency value. It is a major financial event that will likely be studied by experts for years to come. To understand its full scope, we must consider both the macroeconomic implications for Iraq and the personal impact for individuals who have been holding dinar outside of the country. According to Dr. Jamal Nouri, a respected Iraqi economist, this revaluation is a much-needed financial adjustment for Iraq's post-war recovery. He believes the true value of the Iraqi dinar, based on the country's oil-backed assets, has been undervalued for a long time. His perspective frames the revaluation not as an artificial surge but as the natural rebalancing of a resource-rich nation finally stabilizing and asserting its financial sovereignty. Elena Reyes, a London-based currency analyst, reinforces this view, noting that the reported $6.20 ceiling is achievable, particularly for those with access to Tier 4B privileges and high-volume exchanges. She also emphasizes that even those exchanging at the baseline rate of $5.25 could see life-changing returns. This sentiment is echoed by Frank Thomas, also known as Frank 26 in the dinar community, who has consistently communicated that the moment for action is at hand. He asserts that the reported rates are no longer just speculation. They are tangible, live, and have been approved by banking regulators. Collectively, these viewpoints highlight the multifaceted importance of this event. For Iraq, it signifies an economic rebirth. For long-term investors, it is the validation of years of patience and belief. And for individual holders, it represents a potential door to a future they may have only dreamed of. This revaluation has the potential to reshape countless financial futures. For many participants in the Tier 4B group, Redemption centers will serve as the primary point of contact for their exchanges. These centers have been specifically designed to manage high-volume currency redemptions with the utmost discretion and security. The first step in this process is always to book an appointment. Insiders are stressing that attempting to bypass this step is ill-advised. The only authorized way to secure a slot is through the official Tier 4B appointment portal, which is accessible via email links sent to registered participants. Once logged in, individuals can choose their preferred exchange method, including in-person appointments at secure centers, virtual verifications via platforms like Zoom for those with travel limitations, or transactions facilitated through partnered bank offices. When booking your appointment, you will also be prompted to choose between a one-time lump sum payout for immediate liquidity or a structured payout plan. The structured payout, which can span from 3 to 10 years, often includes enhanced rates and can offer potential tax benefits depending on your jurisdiction. When you arrive at your appointment, be prepared. Redemption staff have been instructed to only process exchanges for individuals with clean, unmarked notes. You will also need to present 2 valid forms of identification, such as a passport or driver's license, along with a recent utility bill or bank statement to confirm your residence. If you are pursuing a special contract rate, you will also be required to sign a non-disclosure agreement, a security measure designed to protect all parties. It is also critical to bring your account details, including routing and account numbers, to facilitate immediate wire transfers of your funds. A word of caution: attempting to show up unannounced with bundles of notes may result in immediate denial or redirection to a standard Forex desk, which could cause you to miss out on the enhanced Tier 4B benefits. To protect your potential opportunity, it is essential to follow the precise procedures, stay organized, and treat this as the serious and significant financial transaction that it is. The easiest way to grasp the potential impact of this revaluation is to examine the numbers in a real-world context. Consider the example of a single 25,000 Iraqi dinar note. At the new reported exchange rate of $6, that one note could translate into a payout of $150,000 USD. For many people, that figure alone represents a truly life-changing amount, equivalent to several years of income compressed into a single transaction. Now consider the impact on a larger scale. If a holder has 10 of these notes, the total potential return would be a staggering $1.5 million in a single exchange. The ratio of return on investment is unlike what you would find in most traditional banking products, stock market investments, or even aggressive speculative instruments, which is why this event has been described as a truly historic financial moment. The structured payout options provide an alternative for those who prioritize long-term stability over a one-time windfall. These plans, which can last for many years, distribute funds through regular monthly installments or as a form of consistent income. For example, instead of receiving a $1.5 million lump sum, one could secure a contract that provides a steady cash flow over time, often with built-in interest accruals that increase the total yield. Additionally, spreading the income over a longer period may offer tax advantages by reducing exposure to higher tax brackets. The most important message here is that participants should not only calculate their potential raw dollar gains but also carefully consider which redemption structure best aligns with their long-term financial goals and lifestyle. The news of the Iraqi dinar's revaluation is no longer confined to private investor circles or niche online forums. As of this morning, major international media outlets have begun to report on the story, signaling its entry into the mainstream financial consciousness. CNBC reportedly led with the headline, "Iraqi currency soars in historic revaluation move," positioning the development alongside other breaking market news and highlighting its global significance. Bloomberg framed the event under the banner, "Oil rich, Iraq stuns global markets with $6 dinar rate," a phrase that captures the financial establishment's surprise and acknowledges the immense economic power behind Iraq's position. Meanwhile, Reuters focused on the practical logistics of the shift with the headline, "Forex volume surges as IQD rate goes live across major markets, underscoring the unprecedented trading activity now taking place on international currency exchanges. This widespread media coverage is important for two main reasons. First, it serves as a public validation of what many private investors have believed for years, that the revaluation is a real, live, and internationally recognized event. Second, it introduces a new market dynamic. Increased media attention naturally attracts more participants, from large institutions to individual retail traders, which can amplify the demand for the currency in the short term. This higher demand could, in theory, support upward momentum in the rates, but it could also accelerate the stabilization of the market as liquidity is absorbed into mainstream channels. For those holding dinar, the lesson is clear: visibility often brings volatility, and the earliest exchangers are often in a position to benefit from premium opportunities that may not be available to those who act later. For anyone holding Iraqi dinar and preparing for an exchange, the hours leading up to the opening of this window are critical for preparation. This is not the time for hesitation. It is the time for organization. Begin by physically gathering all of your dinar notes and arranging them by denomination. This simple step will save valuable time at your appointment and demonstrate to the redemption staff that you are prepared for a professional transaction. Next, create a secure digital folder containing scanned copies of your notes and identification documents. While these are not a substitute for the originals, they serve as a crucial backup in case of loss or any clerical errors during the process. It is also vital to monitor your communication channels closely. Be sure to check your email and text messages for notifications from the Tier 4B registration portals, as these are expected to contain the crucial links for booking your appointment. If you have already secured a slot, reconfirm the time and location details to avoid any last-minute surprises. Another often overlooked but important step is to prepare 2 or 3 thoughtful questions to ask during your exchange. This could include clarifying payout options, understanding the terms of a structured contract, or inquiring about post-exchange banking services. This shows that you are taking the process seriously and have a clear understanding of your financial goals. Finally, remember to take care of yourself both physically and mentally. Get adequate rest, stay hydrated, and avoid unnecessary distractions. Tomorrow marks a pivotal moment, and entering the process well-rested and clear-headed will enhance your ability to make sound decisions under pressure. Remember, the earlier you engage, the higher your chances may be of securing premium contract rates. Treat tonight as the final staging ground for what could be the most significant financial transaction of your life. As with any major financial event, the Iraqi dinar revaluation has generated many urgent questions from both seasoned investors and first-time exchangers. One of the most common questions is whether the new exchange rate will remain stable for an extended period, such as 30 days or longer. Based on current information from insiders and operational guidance, there is no confirmation of such an extended timeline. Instead, the consensus among reliable sources is that the optimal window for exchanging at peak rates is likely to be between 7 and 10 business days. After that, the rate could stabilize, shift downward, or become less advantageous, which is why acting quickly is considered so essential. Another common question involves Tier 4B registration. Can latecomers still register? Reports indicate that some redemption centers are still accepting last-minute registrants through official email lists, but availability is shrinking daily as demand increases. Tax liability is another area of intense curiosity, but the truth is that it depends entirely on your specific jurisdiction and whether you opt for a lump sum or a structured contract. For this reason, it is imperative to consult with a licensed professional. Additionally, many are asking whether the Vietnamese dong (VND) or the Zimbabwe dollar (ZIM) will follow a similar path. All signals point to the Vietnamese dong as the next major currency revaluation candidate. While the Zimbabwe dollar is already being managed through structured bond programs, the answers to these questions consistently point toward the need for urgency, preparation, and expert advice. It is critical to understand that the Iraqi dinar's revaluation is not an isolated national event. It is part of a larger global financial transformation. For decades, the US dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency and the backbone of international trade. However, with Iraq's revaluation and a broader global movement toward currencies backed by tangible assets, that dominance is being challenged. The rise of the BRICS coalition, which includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with new members, has accelerated the demand for alternatives to the dollar-based settlement system. At the same time, global trade is beginning to realign in favor of currencies that are directly tied to natural resources such as oil, gold, and energy. Iraq is at the very center of this shift. With its vast natural wealth, the country is not only strengthening its domestic economy but also positioning itself as a key player in a new, multipolar financial world. For individual dinar holders, this means that their personal exchange is directly connected to a major moment in macroeconomic history. By holding and now redeeming their IQD, they are not merely participants in a financial opportunity. They are part of a larger narrative of global transformation. This belief in the potential for a new financial reality is what kept many investors steady through years of skepticism and doubt. And now, that faith is reportedly finding its validation in real numbers and a tangible opportunity. Tomorrow is not just the dawn of a new era for Iraq. It is the beginning of a new chapter for those who have patiently held faith in the promise of the dinar's eventual rise. As the sun rises tomorrow, so too does the chance for ordinary individuals to step into what could be an extraordinary financial outcome. Whether your exchange represents a modest value or a significant sum, the principle remains the same. You persevered through skepticism and uncertainty. You continued your research when others dismissed the topic as a conspiracy. You prepared while others ignored the signs. And now that preparation and faith are poised to be rewarded. This moment is not just about financial gain. It is also about validation. As you prepare for tomorrow's window, remember to act with clarity, boldness, and intelligence. To ensure you stay informed, bookmark this content, and if you find it helpful, share it with others. Be sure to subscribe to the Iraqi Dinar Info channel and activate the notification bell. Doing so will ensure you receive urgent updates on exchange logistics, timelines, and information regarding other potential currency reevaluations. Remember, this is not the end of a journey but the beginning of a new one. Be smart in your choices, be bold in your actions, and most of all, be ready for what comes next.